Welcome to the Killer POV podcast, direct from the San Diego Comic-Con floor 2013. This is Rebekah McKendry with Fangoria Entertainment, and I am joined by two fabulous co-hosts today. They are not our normal co-hosts, unfortunately. Elric could not make it down, and Rob G is running around like crazy covering stuff. So I pulled in two amazing substitutes. One has been on the show, I think more than anyone else, Mr. Brian Collins from Badass Digest.
Hi, everyone.
And then we also have Samuel Zimmerman, who also hails from Fangoria.
Yeah, that's me.
Excellent, guys. So how's the con been for you?
All right. Yeah.
Solid,
Not as much as far as what I had to do. It's not as much work stuff. So I've been able to kind of relax a little more and walk around the floor. Last year, I don't think I got on the floor at all. It was like my third or fourth time over here, so I'm happy about that.
Really? Oh my gosh, I live on this floor for like a week straight, so I can't imagine not being here during this time.
I'm really excited for today. Today is like Sunday fun. I get to run around and buy stuff kind of day.
That is awesome.
I'm always looking for old issues of The Witching Hour.
The Witching Hour? What's that?
It's just like a goofy old horror comic.
Yeah, Sam has a thing for witches.
Yes.
So what's your favorite witch movie?
Teen Witch?
He's thinking. Teen Witch. That's a good one.
I mean, it's probably like at least two of the Three Mothers stuff, even though that's not like super witchy iconography. Sorry. I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, think about it as we keep going. We'll get back to it. So we've had some... Well, first off, I think we should probably start by describing what we're sitting in front of right now. We are sitting right across from the Walking Dead prison. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, every year The Walking Dead has the most elaborate booth, and they're always like recreating things from the show. So this year it's the prison from season 3, and I think when you go in it is the fish tanks the governor has with all the zombie heads in it. And then I think once you're in the prison, there's dudes walking around pretending to be zombies.
Yeah, and you can get your picture taken in there, which is really sweet. And last year they had this whole, I think, living room set up, or was that 2 years ago?
That was the first year. That was the first year before the show premiered, because I think that's something from the first season.
Oh,
yeah.
Rick's house.
And then last year was Michonne and her two zombie captives just hanging out.
Yeah. I loved the living room setup that they did 2 years ago because they had windows in it, and they had silhouettes in the windows of hordes of zombies walking towards the set. It was the sweetest looking thing ever. I loved it.
It's better design than the show.
Yeah. All the money they spend on their booth could be put toward, having more than 3 episodes during the season that something happens.
So we have had some pretty cool news come out of Comic-Con. So what are some of the big things that you guys have seen so far?
I guess as horror fans go, it's probably the Scream Factory stuff. The Nightbreed.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely
Scream
been a highlight.
Factory's putting out Nightbreed, the Cabal cut.
Nightbreed.
Yeah, so Scream Factory is going to be putting out Nightbreed, the Cabal cut. And could you guys tell us a little bit about the Cabal cut?
I think you know more than I mean.
I've seen it. They showed it at the New Beverly, and it's in really rough shape. The new stuff. I mean, they took it off like a twice duped VHS tape.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen a twice duped VHS tape run through, projected onto a big movie screen, yeah.
The color, the codex and the color was completely different on it.
And the thing is that. Obviously, it was awesome to see all that stuff, but I think what they do is they didn't really edit the new cut. They kind of assembled everything that was shot. So it did get a little slack at times, and they could, tighten the pacing. So I'm hoping that part of this restoration process, which is awesome, because, I mean, obviously it would look a little better, like on a small, on DVD on a small screen. But, they're restoring it. They get the original elements, and I'm really hoping that they take a look at that cut and actually edit it and shape, trim moments, make the action beats work a little better. Like the siege on Midian at the end is just endless.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously that's a lot better than being over too quick like it was before. But I think there's like a happy medium, and I'm hoping that's part of the process, is like making the definitive perfect version.
It lasted like 3 hours when we saw it at the New Bev.
Yeah, it was just going there.
But what was interesting for me is that it completely changed the story.
Oh, yeah.
Which
definitely.
I liked. I mean, and there were parts of it that drug on so long and were so tedious, but it completely shifts the focus from Boone over to the monsters.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And, and the story just really kind of bursts about Boone. And the serial killer in it, played by David Cronenberg, Doctor, I don't even remember his... Decker, thank you, Dr. Decker. In it, he becomes a more pivotal role in it and really is built out too. But if one thing gets kind of downsized, it's Boone, surprisingly.
Yeah. So I've never seen Nightbreed.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I think all of us in horror have this kind of
Well,
like...
that's cool because you'll get to see it the first time like the original way, unlike us, who saw it like kind of all like truncated and confusing.
Yeah.
And it's
Just
hilarious
to
because
spite you, I'm going to go home and watch that.
I remember when it first came on Cinemax. I think I was like 11. It was premiering. I was grounded for something. I couldn't watch TV, but I wanted to see that movie so bad. So I snuck downstairs when it was, like for me, like 10 o'clock at night. So everybody was asleep. So I snuck downstairs to watch it without the sound. I'm like, it's a horror movie. I'll get it. I couldn't tell what was going on for like 5 minutes. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll have to wait until I'm not grounded. Watch this movie properly.
It's a good one, and it's one that I always loved when I was a kid just because the monsters were so cool. Even before I understood what was going on, I was totally into the monster element of it.
I remember, I think it was in Fango, they were like, it'll be like the Star Wars of monster movies because there's just so many creatures and like that they have their own stories and stuff, and they just kind of like drift, like the Mos Eisley Cantina. Like it's just like, oh, look at that cool guy. Like he could have his own movie, but he's like a second, which is so cool. You'd never see that now.
And they are built out into the mythos a little bit more in the book, like Peliquin and Baphomet. They all have these kind of background stories, and Cabal, of course. And I see one of our number one fans is hanging out to our right, smiling at us. So, yeah, Killer POV. We've got a surprising amount of fans represented here that have been hanging out and saying hi to us at the Fango booth. So it's been really cool. So thank you for all of you guys who came by to visit. So it's been just an absolutely amazing con so far. So, guys, anything else news-wise that has come out this round?
Well, I was in panels all day yesterday, and it's weird because I never know how to consider it in the genre term as far as horror goes, because I know a lot of the sites cover it, but they did the first trailer for the next Planet of the Apes, and it looks incredible. It looks gorgeous and evocative. Like, I really like Matt Reeves' visual stuff. He did the Let Me In remake, which is a good movie despite being the same thing for the first one, but it really looks like beautiful and evocative, and it ended on this shot of Caesar in war paint that was just really fucking tough.
One of our friends is working on makeup for that. Emma did makeup for that, and so I was seeing small clips of it from what she was posting up, but it looks amazing. And Brian, have you seen anything that you think is going to be epic?
I went to the Riddick panel, and that was they showed off not really clips, but just like extended looks at Riddick, obviously, and also
they showed that restricted trailer, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool monster stuff.
And then they had I don't know if they put this online as well, but it was like a character trailer for Riddick and one for Katie Sackhoff's character, I believe is named Doll, if I'm remembering correctly. And it looks like she's going to be really badass, and I'm excited about that. The movie just looks really cool. I mean, it's definitely more pitch black than Chronicles of Riddick, at least from what they're showing us. It's not like like goofy Dune wannabe. It's more, it's like Riddick and a bunch of people that don't like him, but they need his help to get off a planet of monsters. I'm like, yeah, do that.
I absolutely loved Pitch Black.
Yeah.
It's still one of my favorite movies, like a secret passion of mine. But then everything that followed it, I wasn't too into. Yeah,
Riddick wasn't. Though the game.
I was just gonna say, isn't the game surprisingly good?
Bay is so good. Like it's a first-person shooter game. It's like the best movie, video game ever. And no, I did not just say that just so I could talk about the awesome Friday the 13th Jason.
So that's been one of the other big things of the convention is that NECA has put out, you know what, Brian Collins, I'm going to let you describe it because you're holding
All
on.
right, yeah. So if any good horror fan has probably played or at least knows of the impossible and over-ridiculous Friday the 13th Nintendo game that came out in the late 80s, I don't even know how to describe the game. You're one of the 6 kids. They're all generic kids, and they're kind of wandering around Crystal Lake, going to cabins, trying to save the children. And I think you have to light the fireplace to keep Jason out. And every now and then you get in a canoe where bats and other things attack you. But anyway, so when you encounter Jason, it's impossible. There's I don't think that without a game genie, I don't think it's possible to beat him ever. Maybe you can. So,
we need to look that up.
But Jason, when he appears, he is, I don't know if it's a graphic limitation or what, but for some reason he's got this bright purple jumpsuit and a turquoise face, for the mask.
I don't know if it's a graphic limitation or extreme progression into fucking sweet fashion. I love it. That's what's so great about this figure.
So NECA, being awesome, have decided to make an action figure based on his appearance there. So you got the glowing mask, the glowing weapons, and the hideous face. They say hideous face as if that's like an accessory. That's just
you can add it on.
And everyone is obsessed with this.
And I noticed an interesting thing. It's credited to New Line Cinema, even though the rights just went back to Paramount. And when the game came out, it was all Paramount. So that's kind of interesting.
I'm sure that they had been in design while it was still with New Line, so they probably licensed it from New Line. But yeah, everybody has been going completely apeshit over these figures this whole time. And like even the Fango writers had called me up and been like, get me that, the Friday the 13th NECA figure. And so I ended up standing in line twice. I've picked up 4 of them so far, but this has been the one thing that like every horror fan has been trying to get. And it's been sold out so much.
Yeah, we got here Wednesday night, and then I jumped online immediately to get one for myself and one for Brian.
Yeah.
And then on that line, I saw like Justin from Mondo, Quint from Ain't It Cool. Like
every Mondo guys.
Yeah,
all the horror fans are pumped.
I was standing in line with Spooky Dan to grab one. So yeah, it's been the big thing of this. So we'll put up some pictures of it on the Facebook page. But yeah, it's limited edition, but they're already up on eBay.
And it's so funny because like I don't consider myself a collector, at least in the figure sense.
Yeah,
I don't have a place to put it. I don't like figures. But this is just it's so cool, and it's so retarded.
I know, it's acknowledging a game that we all hated.
It's so wonderful, and it just glow in the dark, and goofy, and amazing. I mean, and NECA just does really great work.
Yeah. Well, to me, I mean, that's definitely part of the appeal is it's such a niche, like, sort of in-joke, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not... Like, if they just did some cool, like, sculpt of a regular Jason, like, I'd have, like, almost no it. I'm like, all right, yeah, that looks cool, but, like, I don't need that. But, I mean, something this ridiculous... you have to be like, all right, that is something I'd like to have up. Just so I can have the chance to explain it to somebody that comes over and is like, why does Jason have a green mask? I could be like, yo.
Did you play?
If I ever own the bar I want to own, it'll just be sitting up there like behind the bar, staring at everyone hanging out.
Sam's aiming to own a bar. You heard it here first.
Breaking news.
Although I do think they just didn't see it, I think they blew an opportunity to have a guy dressed as that Jason kind of walking around, letting people know like where the booth was and stuff.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be amazing.
I would have wanted a picture with him immediately.
Yeah. Who are you? I'm 8-bit Jason.
So there's so many. Comic-Con really is where all of the studios compete for your attention.
Yes.
And it really is. The people who get represented here are the people who can throw the most money at it because it costs so much to be here. So a question that we've been asked both on Fangoria and through Killer POV and that I see discussed on the internet a lot is, can indie filmmakers get representation here at Comic-Con? And since you guys have been out doing the pressing the whole time, I wanted to see what you guys thought.
I don't know. I guess is the answer, because most of the indie films are the ones with booths, right? Where they're hanging out on the floor, they're passing out flyers and copies and trailers. So that's more, I think that's a better question for fans, because I'm curious when they stop by the booths if they're just getting free stuff because everyone loves taking things, or if they actually say, what is this? What was checked out? Because everything in Hall H and it's all studios, it's all WB and more.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes like late at the end of the night. Like I remember last year, the year before, there was a panel for indie in Hall H. So it was like Dave Parker's movie Cold Water.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, that's awesome.
That crazy ass movie Branded. Charles de la Rizica. I can't say his name. Sorry, Charles. Charles de la Rizica, something. His movie. But I mean, obviously it wasn't very full, but it's just cool that they gave them that venue.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have as many. That they could reach the widest audience possible, rather than one of those little like 25A whatever rooms upstairs that hold like 200 people tops and are so out of the way that just people kind of. They only go up there if they know that that's what they want to do. Whereas Hall H, people just kind of wander by and they see. I've gone in just because I could. Like the one time the Hall H didn't have a line. I'm like, oh, okay, boom. I don't care what it is. I just,
Yeah.
Chances are there might be something later that everybody's dying to get in. And you're already seated. So
for those of you guys who don't know, Comic-Con Hall H is the enormous hall. I think it holds 5,000 people.
6,000 or 6,500. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's enormous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely enormous, and it's where they hold things like the
Marvel panel.
Yeah,
all
the
big
panels.
movie panels. Not a single comic book panel.
Definitely not.
The comic book panels definitely get the smaller rooms at Comic-Con. Unless it's a comic book movie, then it's down there for sure. But yeah, that's when Marvel does their thing every year. That's where Legendary had that big thing with Godzilla and everything. Those are the big gets. Today it's actually all TV, which is interesting because for a long time, TV properties weren't allowed in Hall H. They were relegated to Ballroom 20, which is the second biggest room.
It's been interesting watching that grow.
Yeah,
because now
I think there's
the
more
biggest
TV
Hall
there.
H.
Yeah. But I remember I think what happened one year, there was a panel, I can't remember what it was, in Hall H that was literally like half full. Meanwhile, Game of Thrones was upstairs in Ballroom 20, and the line was like wrapped around the building twice.
Oh my gosh!
So it was like, all right, we have to rethink this and let TV. And so like you start to see a sprinkle like when Simpsons. I think they were promoting the movie though, maybe, but like they got in there, and then Lost for its final season they got in Hall H, but it was like very select, And now this year it's like today's literally all TV. Doctor Who, Breaking Bad, Supernatural, Community. I forget what's after Community, but it's literally all TV today.
Well, and also they usually don't do any type of throwbacks in Hall H. It's all current stuff that the studios are pushing, and they did the X-Files in there this year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
20th anniversary. 20th anniversary.
So that was a really cool thing to see the X-Files back, and that was one where people were lined up the night before and were actually camping out. Did either of you guys make it in for that?
Nope.
No.
Do not camp.
Yeah, I don't camp.
I don't camp either. So
we had, last year or the year before, Devin, Devin Fracci in Baddest Digest, we kind of walked down just to like chill with the people that were like waiting in line all night and talk like what are you here for and stuff. Not like for an interview or camera or anything, just like because I was saying I'm like I wish I loved something that much that I would sleep out in this cold San Diego.
I think there is something we love that much, but they'll never do a retrospective on Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2.
Literally the only two people in line. Like,
I love that movie. I don't know if I'd camp out for it.
Are.
I agree it's a phenomenal sequel. I just don't think I'd camp for it, guys.
I was asking Devin last night. I was like, I wonder, do people pitch panels? Can you pitch panels?
You can.
I would love to do like a Blair Witch 2 retrospective. And I was like, wait, it'd just be me and Brian on a stage talking about how good that movie is.
And a guy.
And one dude sitting down going, you guys
he's
are
just
idiots.
camping out for the next panel.
I'm just waiting for the X-Files panel.
I'm
It's
waiting
up
for
next.
Funimation. Oh my God! Speaking of Funimation, let me tell the story. So I went up to room 24 ABC, which is one of the smaller panel rooms, and I went to the Creepy Eerie panel. And a lot of the folks in there were waiting for the Funimation panel, which was next. I know very little about Funimation, but
They do good cartoons.
yeah, I'm not knocking them. I just know very little, but it was that kind of crowd. And there was this one dude next to me that's just looking up hentai on a tablet in the middle of the panel room, just searching up like natural tentacle sex. And first of all, which is a wacky sentence to begin with, natural
Tentacle sex.
I'm just staring at this. And his wife's next to him too, so I guess they're just super into it, which is fine. But I felt bad because it was loading super poorly because the Wi-Fi here sucks.
Come on.
Maybe it was one of those things where he didn't know about it, so he was like, "What's tentacle sex?" And then he gets like
No,
more.
there was no way. He was like on X video in the middle of room 24 ABC. He knew where he was.
See, I always assume the innocent because, like, I was over the
You got
girls.
X video to load? I've been having so much trouble here.
I haven't gotten anything to load here. Like, Brian sent me the screener for Beneath, and I was trying to watch that last night while we were closing down the booth, and I was like, nothing is loading here. So when you stick like 100,000 fans in the same place, the 4G and 3G get eaten up so quickly, nobody can do anything. So it's kind of
It was
like
weird
cut
this
off.
morning. I mean, it's getting kind of crowded now, but this morning it was kind of like a ghost town here. Because, if you've never been to Comic-Con, basically Sunday is kind of dead. They call it the family day. All the bigger like movie panels and TV show stuff.
It's pretty wonderful.
A lot of it's pretty much over because, people are coming in from town. They're not going to stay an extra night. They're not going to stay till Monday, so they have to check out of their hotels by now. And so, therefore, this place is kind of drastically reduced how much traffic is here.
The funny, also sad thing about it is, even when it is packed on Saturday, if you walk all the way over to where the actual comics are, it's
Oh my God,
always still
it's
just
like
kind of dead.
tumbleweeds rolling through the aisles over there.
Which I love,
noticed-
because then I'm just like, ooh,
I
Chamber of
noticed
Space.
something kind of interesting. I don't know if this is just like a logistics issue or what, but usually the video game stuff has been over where we are right now, which is sort of the left side of the Hall H, of the big showroom. Now all the video game stuff is on the direct other end, and comic books is in between video games and like TV and movie properties. So I wonder if they moved it because now people heading over because they got the Xbox One, the PS4 over there. Like people have to go through the comic section.
I think they actually moved it for much more of a traffic reason.
Yeah.
I wish that it was to direct more attention to the comics, but I have a feeling that it was just simply traffic reasons. Because for the past 2 years, the bigger that the video game section got, and the cooler that the movies made their actual their islands is what they call them here, where you have like the Walking Dead prison, and that new Black Sails has got like an entire pirate ship and things like that set up on the floor. So when you have that right next to the new video game releases, nothing moves because the booths encourage you to be stationary at them. So nothing moves. So I think that's why they put all the comic books in between the two things now to give it some buffer.
Sorry, there's a Rocketeer cosplay right in front of me. That really excited me. I fucking love the
With a really old
Rocketeer.
Ghostbuster dude. I love it.
That is awesome.
I never get tired of
He's
Ghostbusters cosplay.
Total, like, a guy in his 60s, decked out in full Ghostbusters.
Kind of looks like Tom Atkins.
He does. It looks like Tom Atkins in a Ghostbusters outfit.
That guy's awesome.
But
That
this
guy is
Rocketeer outfit is amazing. I love the Rocketeer so much.
The coolest
What
outfit.
if it worked? Like, he just, like, starts flying away.
That jetpack looks sweet, though. It's really nicely
I'd
done.
grab on his feet. Later, guys. Going somewhere.
Gotta go.
Going to the next plane of existence.
The coolest costume I've seen so far was somebody yesterday came by dressed as the robot monster from the 1953 movie that only I know about. So it was seriously like he did this costume just for me, where he had everyone knows it as that film where the costumer got really lazy, and so the monster wears a gorilla suit with a submarine helmet on. And he came dressed as that, and I am like the one person at this entire con who was like, Robot Monster 1953, I love you, man.
How come no one does a brain scan cosplay?
Oh, man, if I saw this
I never see any tricksters walking around.
Yeah, and I saw one guy's dressed as Rick from Splatterhouse, so that was like my geek out moment with that. But yeah, I'm not seeing too many horror costumes this year.
I'm not even seeing a lot of It's a weirdly low-key cosplay.
Yeah,
here.
dude, I was saying, I've only seen one Bane.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Was it at least one of those chubby dudes who do Bane? That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And they don't wear the shirt, and they just have like kind of like dumpy shoulders.
Also, just general advice: if you want to wear a costume, that's awesome, and I love you for it. But if you have fake blood and gut stuff on your costume that easily wears off, don't go jostling around on the main floor. Because I just went to go say hi to you or something yesterday, and then all of a sudden I realized I'm covered in fake blood because some guys like thundering around. Like, go hang out outside and take pictures and shit.
Yeah,
right?
I think that has been the one
jeans.
costume I have seen more than any other is people dressed as zombies.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they realize the amount of work that goes into looking like a zombie all day. Because, I mean, you're gooey.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, is you're putting goo on your face for the day. And then people will be, like, walking around the booth and they're, like, dripping on things.
Yeah.
2 people
Pretty
were just
nasty.
cosplaying as Cowboys and Aliens fans.
That's a brave costume, man.
I want to see the Ripper from My Soul to Take. I'd be really happy about that.
You want to be the vulture?
I'm going to be the bathroom door with a sign that says Fang Time.
The condor. You're the condor from it. The one that
Oh
vomits.
my god, if I saw the California condor, dude, like fake puking on people, Comic-Con would be
The
amazing.
Killer POV audience is just learning that Brian and I are
Oh, no.
staunch defenders of
We've talked about this before because a couple of months ago, somebody had posted something on it or like reposted Brian's horror movie a day article where he kind of defended it.
Kind of.
And so, yeah, exactly.
Do you know us?
Yeah, exactly. So Dave, I had been talking about it, and so I came home and I was making jokes about it, and Dave was like, I've never seen this movie. It can't be as bad as you're saying, Becca. I mean, if Sam and Brian like it, it's got to be, like, have some merit to it. So that night, we bought it off of Amazon. Like, we paid $4.99 for that shit, and we watched it from beginning to end. And
What a
Dave at
deal.
the end was like, oh my gosh. So we have discussed it on the show recently.
So good.
The merits of My Soul to Take.
I seriously think, like, if I ever get knuckle tattoos, Fang Time is fucking it. It is it.
My lord. So what do you guys have left here? Like, what's the one thing that you want to do before the show ends today?
Buy stuff. No, buy comics.
So you're a comic man.
I'm a comic fan. I'm going to buy... there's a booth every year that I need to find. It's always kind of tucked away, but it's a gentleman who sells some really cool paperbacks, and they're all wrapped in plastic, and they're old, pulpy paperbacks, and a lot of them have original Frank Frazetta art. A lot of them are just really lovely colors. Last year I got Arthur C. Clarke's Islands in the Sky, and the edition is great, and I bought my girlfriend the Shockwaves, the Richard Matheson short story collection. That had a really great cover, so I just want to go find cool stuff for us like that.
Dave bought something there last year. It was a Ray Bradbury. I don't even remember which one it was. He bought a Ray Bradbury collection, and it had the woman who was turning into the rocket, and the rocket was pulling off her
that's amazing.
nightgown, and it's just beautiful artwork.
I love those
beautiful.
pulp covers, so I'm really excited. Lindy and I just love old books and like really exciting cover art, so I'm going to find that and buy some cool stuff, and I'm going to find some issues of Witching Hour and Chamber of Chills, and they always have really fun covers, like some mom knocking on the door, and she's like, "Honey, what are you doing in there?" And some like big crony witch is like reading a storybook to her child.
That's awesome.
Stuff like that.
And Brian, what are you doing today?
If I don't get into the community panel, I'm going to be really sad, because the only reason I'm here still is to go to the community panel, because I had nothing really like work-wise left to do, and I didn't even have a room last night originally. I extended my stay when they announced that the community panel would be Sunday, specifically just to go to it, because I know it's not horror, so I'll go through it quick. The creator of the show is fired, and they brought him back, so I really want to be there when he gets to go on the panel.
Did you guys just see trick-or-treat bags walking past?
Yeah, people
with Sam on them?
Yeah, people are bringing their retro bags.
Cool.
And I keep getting confused because I saw like somebody had like one of the Lego games. I really like those, and I was like, "Oh, it's a new one." I'm like, "Oh, this guy's like rocking his bag from like 2009."
Speaking of trick or treat, the other day at the Creepy Eerie panel, apparently this has been known, but Mike Doherty is working on like the supposed developing creepy film.
Oh, nice!
I
Which
heard
is
about
amazing.
that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's like such a perfect fit. I don't understand why it's taken so long to do like a creepy, eerie kind of anthology film or standalone films. There's so many exciting stories in those.
Those are
That's
amazing.
like a wealth, like a library wealth to do. So I got really excited because I didn't know that.
And they're doing it as a film?
They're developing it with 1492, Chris Columbus's production company, and the producer and one of the guys at Creepy, Josh Braun, was talking to me about it. I just never realized Doherty was on it, and I got really excited because, I mean, I assume we all love Trick or Treat. I love Trick or Treat with all my heart. And he's a really fantastic fit because I think Trick or Treat has that kind of ghastly but really hilarious.
That might be like a collector's item, because that's proof that at one point Warner Brothers was actuly trying to push the movie.
Yeah, that's before they kind of did this like quick direct-to-video release with it. So here's my Mike Doherty story. So Fango did a screening of Trick or Treat in New York
at the Pioneer Theater, which doesn't exist anymore.
I know, and I love the
Great
Pioneer Theater because like you would order like it was this like little seedy theater. It used to be the porn theater in New York back in the 80s.
And it was right behind Two Boots Pizzeria.
Yeah, where they use cornbread as pizza crust.
Oh, God.
Genius shit. So, but anyway, we were screening it there, and I absolutely loved the Pioneer. I wish it was still there because it was the kind of place where like you'd order a Diet Coke, and they would like open a fridge and get you a can of Coke, and it's like sitting next to the employee's lunch.
It seated like 100. There was like 150 seats.
And the seats were always sticky and cold, and it was just, I loved that place. But anyway, Fango was doing a screening of Trick or Treat there. While Warner Brothers had kind of buried it, and so they were kind of shopping it around. Mike was doing it himself with a really small crew, and Warner Brothers, it was Warner, and so he was kind of shopping it around himself. And I was really late for the screening, and I was closing up the Fango office. And we get people who stop by the Fango office just because they're fans, and they just want to kind of come in and talk and hang out for a little bit. And we're getting ready to leave for the screening, and I'm running late. And there's this knock on the door, and this little guy in glasses is standing there, and he's like, "Are you Rebekah?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I really like the magazine. I read your stuff." And I was like, "Look, man, I really got to run. I'm late for this screening. I'm really sorry. You're going to have to come back tomorrow." And I was kind of short with him about it. And then he's like, "I'm Mike Doherty." And standing behind him is actually like a cart with the film reels on it. Like he's schlepping it around New York City on a cart himself. And and so we took a cab down to the Pioneer together. But it was amazing just because I was like, this is what he's doing, is he's literally carrying the film reels around the country himself.
He's such a great, like, genuine dude.
And now he's one of my Facebook friends, and I get excited whenever he likes my stuff. I'm like, yeah, Mike Doherty likes my stuff.
Last I heard, because they never really went theatrical with it, just played a few festivals and like one-off midnight screenings. Apparently, their 35 millimeter print is no more. And so, like, New Bev had been kind of almost making it like an annual thing where they were showing it, like, almost every year. Now that can't happen anymore because they're 35 millimeter only, and that print is gone, apparently.
The guy in front of us who was just, like, staring at us endlessly, he's another one of our diehard fans.
Oh, nice.
Who knew? We have these. I'm so psyched about it. So
that's yet another fantastic anthology with no 35 millimeter print. Because
I know.
Brian and I are constantly talking about how
Tales from the Hood
is one of the greatest movies. And
really? Did that even get like a big DVD release? I feel like it's out of print.
It was like
DVD.
one of those
It
like
might be out of
quickie
print.
like snapper case. I think it was like Image or somebody that put it out. And it's been long gone. And part of the reason is, I mean, it's probably like a non-anamorphic full frame DVD.
I wish I was a trust fund child.
Yeah.
I would pay to strike a new print.
Yeah. So no prints of that. And it's just,
Wow.
it's getting really sad. But yeah, maybe that should be a panel here, like at Comic-Con, like 35mm film. Why you should not abandon it.
You know, we're proposing that for next year. Let's do it. And that was actually the topic of I think it was the last show was the topic. We had Mike Williams on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we talked about film and, you know, the death of film as a medium and the benefits of it over video and, you know, what shooting on digital, how it has improved and at the same time kind of, you know, lost a chunk of what makes film so great.
Yep, definitely.
So, check out the last show where we talk about that in detail with a lot of geek lingo because I know nothing about aspect ratios or anything like that, but he told us all about it. So, so the big thing that everybody who isn't at Comic-Con always wants to know about is the parties. So did you guys go? I know you guys are big party hounds and you guys party hop like crazy. I'm calling you guys party hounds because this year I had my daughter here with me. So I went back to my hotel room last night and watched Fistful of Dollars with her. So what'd you guys do?
Comic-Con's all about.
Tell me about the parties because I missed everything, so I have to live vicariously.
I'm going to say Insidious was
Insidious definitely the best one. Yeah,
They,
I love that. Because it wasn't really a party.
I stopped
wasn't
by
really a party.
outside enough to get a red demon pop because I had to be like, Joe, I'm eating your popsicle, man.
They had an ice cream truck. It was great. But inside, it was like an interactive haunted house. It wasn't so much like you walk through and people are coming out, but it was a big replica of kind of the house and the further.
Yeah.
And lighting was crazy. They had, you know, church pews with, you know, corpses with sheets over them and
So
all
it
the
was
bars.
actually like an Insidious haunted house.
Yeah, but it was
But
more
you
just like an
hang out in it.
installation.
Like you didn't get like led through or
And
anything like that. You just hang
bartenders
out
and
for an hour and a half.
DJs were wearing gas masks.
Yeah.
And
the like creepy interact. Like there was like the dice. I have video of you playing with this like you throw these like, you know, dice down. They start like rolling over on themselves and moving around on the table. Cool.
Oh, wow.
The mirror.
The music was like atmospheric.
Yeah.
Oh, in the bathroom.
When you wash your hands, like they had some like doohickey projection thing set up on the mirror. So when you washed your hand, all of a sudden a ghost would like kind of pop out of it and like
Oh my
On
gosh.
the back of the door, it was written in
like,
chalk,
don't tell
please
you.
don't tell everyone. I walk outside, Brian is telling everyone. He's like warning them.
Well, I've seen enough dudes. They go into the bathroom and for whatever reason, the first thing they do before they do anything else is they wash their hands. Right?
Before you use
Before
the
they
bathroom?
go, yeah. I guess they
Really want to keep the package clean.
So I'm thinking, guy's got to go real bad, but he's one of those OCD dudes that washes his hands first. He's going to go up to the sinks, like hurriedly washing his hands. The ghost is going to yell at him. He's going to piss his pants. So, you know, doing public service.
I like it. So what other parties did you guys get to the Bates party? Because that one looked really cool. I was
got
looking
to
at
it, but we didn't go in it.
Yeah, we didn't go in because the line was just kind of irritating, and they were doing the whole paparazzi thing outside, and it was just a pain in the ass. But Lawrence from FearNet was inside, and we were trying to find out where he was, and all of a sudden I just get a text that's like, I'm in the pot brownie room. So I guess it was pretty sweet.
they had a pop brownie room. That is awesome.
You know what party was? It was really garish and awful because a lot of Comic-Con, that's what it is now when the studios take over. It's just
They don't get it.
marketing to you, and so they did, you know, Playboy as a party, and it's just like, what? But we went to that. We went to the Playboy like Kick-Ass 2 party, and it was in this giant parking lot, and they were serving some sort of ginger cocktail that I was just guzzling, and they had this booth set up that was like the Cirque du Soleil trampoline thing where you get in a harness and you're just like gracefully acrobating. So I did like 10 backflips.
That is awesome.
It was pretty wonderful. Wow. I had a good time.
And did you guys, the one that everybody was talking about was the Con of Darkness, which was kind of like the Con of Dead, but was a little stolen from FearNet. So,
yeah, it's just kind of like this genre thing, but a lot of times those parties, they try to be a bit too much of like the hot thing to go to rather than just understand that all we want to do is just hang out with each other and talk about horror movies.
Yeah.
So they're like blasting weird, you know, like
Pop,
goofy
like
remixes.
Yeah, that's the thing that I remembered from a couple of the parties last year was that it would have like cool techno dancers and, you know, crazy light show. And in the corner is all of us still like, hey, did you guys see this 1973 movie? You know, Crowhaven, Witches, early 70s. Check it out.
Is, you know, they pay for this
Know
like,
your
elaborate
audience.
setup of like neon lights and it's like Con of Darkness and like there's two lady dancers and they're dancing all over the place, and this big DJ dude. This was like last year too. Like all that's happening, and then I'm upstairs with Adrian Bugliano talking about Central American horror.
That's what it was. I was over in the corner with Elric talking about, the screenings that we wished were screening there. Like, man, I really wish some of this other stuff was screening here. They just don't screen good international horror here. It never gets repped in any way.
That's the thing, too, is Comic-Con has become this really big press event, but it's not horror's game.
No.
Like The Walking Dead is here because that's not horror's game either. It's like a national phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean, literally every year I feel I have less and less to do, like specifically doing horror stuff. I mean, Evil Dead, I think, was like
they
really
trotted out Fede, but
yeah, and that was like in this tiny. I mean, it's a cool place. It's called the Movies on Demand Lounge, and it's kind of like the Wire Cafe. You go out, for press and whoever, like you go chill. They have food. You can charge your phone and stuff. But they do like these like Q&A things, and they like 15, 20 minutes a couple times a day. And it was in there. I mean, it only seats like 20, 25 people. Whereas the director of another movie that may have made $50 million this year, but isn't specifically horror, like some sort of action or sci-fi movie, he'd be in Hall H, with like the giant press rooms that they get.
And that's all the other thing too is like Evil Dead already came and went, so they're just kind of
they're trotting out the fact that it's coming out on Blu-ray.
You know what the best was? Yesterday during 20th Century Fox, they were like, we're gonna have a big surprise panel, and it was X-Men: Days of Future Past. So that's the X-Men movie that obviously adapts that arc, but it's also teaming up the X-Men from First Class, like the new guys, and then everyone from the Bryan Singer movies, and Bryan Singer came back directed, so they brought out the entire cast. It's like a giant fucking ensemble out there. And they all walk out, and Michael Fassbender walks out wearing a You're Next mask. It was one of the coolest things. Everyone was just like, what is going on? I don't think he knew what it was either. He was just kind of hanging out backstage, but that was just kind of surreal and really fun.
Inadvertently providing the best promotion yet.
Yeah.
Now, Your Next has gotten a really big showing here, which is great. Because AJ Bender is you just said Michael Fassbender. AJ Bowen's a really good friend of the show, and we all love him dearly. Your Next has gotten a good showing here.
They showed it Wednesday night. I think it had a really good screening. And Barbara Crampton came down and had the best shirt. Like, my favorite thing of this entire con has been Barbara Crampton's animal print shirt. It was amazing. She's like, she's so high fashion. It's sick.
Wow. So, Your Next, when is that one coming out, guys?
August 23rd.
August 23rd.
So everyone go see it. It's great.
Yeah,
great
so
movie.
even though that has been like one of the biggest repped movies, horror movies at least here, it's one that we all kind of stand behind.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I'm sad I didn't see more Conjuring stuff here.
It came out this weekend.
Yeah, it came out this weekend.
They definitely have stuff. I mean, there's a Red 2 thing at Summit, that came out today this weekend too. So
I think The Conjuring did really well anyway.
It's number one regardless.
It's a really great movie.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal movie. We talked about it last week as just being like, we think it's going to be a game changer, and we really hope that, it's really kind of pumping up the more supernatural stuff. So we'll see what happens. But definitely go check out The Conjuring.
I think more than anything, it could just prove that you're well constructed, not bland. Like hiring any journeyman director to make like a bland supernatural horror movie is not the way to go. Like,
no.
James Wan has such an amazing sensibility, and he can really craft a film. That film's like orchestrated.
It's
like Stoker. Like Stoker was another movie this year where like you can feel sequences being orchestrated and composed, and it really takes your breath away. And Conjuring is like that.
I finally watched Stoker
Best movie of the year.
The night before Comic-Con. Yeah, and I have to say, my favorite movie of the year, and I wasn't expecting that because it didn't get much press. And I mean, I went to the press junket for it here in LA, and even that was really small. It was on like a Saturday, and whenever you have a press junket on a Saturday, it's a guarantee nobody's going to come. And so, it was me and like Stacey Lane Wilson and like 5 other people. Heather Wixom was there talking with Nicole Kidman. And so we were all, kind of like, well, this movie looks awesome, but it's not going to do that huge. And then, it only got released in a few theaters. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is art. This is like the greatest horror movie I've seen in years. It's just brilliant. And it has so much replay value. Like, if you just watch it again, and then just watch Nicole Kidman's faces when everyone else is interacting, it's the best movie. Yeah, and I ended up, and I never do this with films, while Dave and I were watching it, I rewinded sequences because I wanted to see them again because they were so coolly constructed. Like the hair thing. The dissolve. Yeah, the dissolves.
I was like, I had the weirdest, like, pull quotes ever of my review because I'm like, this movie has the best dissolve you will ever see. But it's true. It's true. So good. Yeah. And what it's so short, it's like it knows it's hot shit. Like the opening credits, it's this sequence and Mia Wasikowska gets out of the car and every couple of seconds it's freeze framing, which it had me. I mean, already I was like, oh my God, I'm in.
But it's almost like the movie is like, wait, we know you're catching your breath. Like every time it freeze frames, it's like we know you're kind of a shit ton blown away right now.
Oh yeah,
and it's great. Like I love that kind of like, just look at what I'm doing.
Yeah, the first sequence where I was like, holy shit, this is something different, was where she was down in the basement and moving the light, and you saw the same light happening in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It was just poetic.
I'm a huge fan of the bit where, so for whatever reason, Nicole Kidman's bedroom has 2 doors, and she opens, there's one on the right, she opens that one, and she's standing in front of it, and the door's still open, and Matthew Good's character comes, and rather than just go through that open door, he opens the other and goes through, and then she shuts her side, but he leaves his open. I'm like, I don't know what it is. It's just so, like, such an odd little moment,
It's
but I
warped.
loved it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about that movie is warped. It's like this warped American Gothic that I just want to, like, when it ended, I saw it at Sundance, and everyone was kind of mixed on it, and I was like, am I crazy? I was like, I want to marry this movie.
Yeah, that's what Dave and I said. I was like, this is the movie, like, when I close my eyes and dream that I make. Yeah, like, I wish I could pull something like that off. It is amazing. So if you have not seen it yet, see Stoker. It is now, you can buy it. It's on DVD. It's on Amazon and everything. So definitely check out Stoker if you have not yet. So guys, since we're getting to a close here, what is the one thing that you have seen at Comic-Con that you're like, hey, I didn't know about that beforehand. I should check that out? Is there anything that you have suddenly been like,
I don't
think
think much is like that because we come with the intention of covering
Yeah,
everything. So we get so many emails. It's
I don't
like,
get
come to this,
as
come
much
to
time
this.
to go to stuff that I don't know anything about. I mean, I'm definitely excited about Rick and Morty. It's sort of genre-related, I guess. It's about it's an Adult Swim cartoon. It's their first half hour.
Did they show it
cartoon.
here?
They showed a big clip from like a long trailer for it.
We are friends with Dave and I, not the show, but we'll definitely have them on. We're friends with Starburn Industries, just because they're big horror fans. And so when they, we met them at a press junket and they were like, holy crap, you're Fangoria. And they, immediately started inviting us. So we got to go to the Rick and Morty Kickstarter party.
Oh, nice.
And we all got Rick and Morty swag. And it was one of those things where I was like, I'm wearing a shirt that may never get made. And now it's being made. And I already have Rick and Morty hoodies.
It's coming out in December on Adult Swim.
And for those of you who haven't caught up on it yet, Rick and Morty is it's a cartoon. It's made by Starburn Industries, which is the same people who work on Community, and they've done The Simpsons. And the show is kind of, I want to call it Back to the Future-esque.
Yeah, it's Doc and Marty if Marty was dumb. So Morty's the grandson. He's like not too bright, and his grandfather Rick is crazy. And he just like sort of forces him on these adventures. And the clip they show, I mean, I was just dying. He's like yelling. It's Adult Swim humor, so obviously it's an acquired taste. But they're trying to escape from some planet with anthropomorphic bugs. And so the grandfather's trying to work the time travel machine, or whatever the hell he's doing, and he's like, Morty, just shoot him, Morty. And he's like, I can't. He's like, yeah, they're robots. It doesn't matter. Just shoot them. So he takes a gun, he fires at one. The first one he kills is like somebody's brother, and like the brother guy's like, what did you do? He has a family. Why would you do this to him? And I'm like, I love this already. I'm so happy. Check
out Rick and Morty. That should be coming out. It's in the fall, right?
I think they said December. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And, I mean, Comic-Con for us as press, it really is a lot of the studios kind of waving their arms around going, look at me, look at me. So we kind of hear about everything before we get here. But there have been a couple of things that I've been kind of like, hey, that looks cool. It's another, actually, Adult Swim show, Mr. Pickles. Okay. I saw a clip for, and it looks horror-esque, too.
Okay, cool.
So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. So.
I have my 2 favorite things of this entire convention has been... So I've never been. Every year Marvel comes, Marvel Studios, and they really do it big, and it's like fireworks, and it's really it gets to the essence of like the magic of why this place could be great. And, you feel wonder and you feel fun, and it's not just like you feel like you're being marketed at, and they bring out everyone. So last night was my first Marvel panel because I never stick around in Hall H long enough because I'm really excited for the next Captain America film. I love Captain America. So they do this whole thing. Tom Hiddleston comes out as Loki in full regalia, does this big goofy monologue, and everyone, great. They bring out the Captain America folk. The movie looks amazing. But then they brought out everyone from Guardians of the Galaxy and did a trailer for it. And so James Gunn is directing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, see, that's a genre guy.
It's amazing.
Being selected to do something
Watching
awesome.
him at this level, like from his Troma days, from Slither, from Super... And up there and putting it looks like a weird fun space adventure up there. And Chris Pratt, and he has Rooker in it with him, and so that was really exciting to see him doing something on that level, and I felt like kind of elation. I really liked watching that. And then yesterday I was walking around Autograph Alley, and Diane Franklin was just up there. And I don't know, I love Amityville too.
Oh, and I will say that
Diane Franklin came by the booth, and her daughter did too, and they picked up the new Jess Franco issue, a whole bunch of copies,
that's cool.
because we have the
Oh, we have
Amityville 2
Amityville,
article
sorry.
in it. So yeah, they grabbed like 2 copies of it.
I love Amityville too.
My big thrill is we were hanging out at the booth, and this guy comes by, and he's like, "I've been on the cover." And I was like, "Oh, really? That's great." And I'm like looking at him for a sec, and then I realized it was the leader of the pack from Sometimes They Come Back. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your movie. We need pictures together."
That's
it was
fantastic.
really cool.
That's a lot of the fun. You guys get more of that because I'm running around the panels, but at the booth, people are just stopping by and a lot of fun. Like the Soskas were just hanging around.
Yeah, the Soska. Well, they're friends of mine, so they just kind of hung around, and we were going to go get drinks last night before my daughter had a meltdown. But yeah, and the other cool thing is I'm really good friends with the guys from Nuclear Blast, and they know that Dave is a huge Slayer fan. So yesterday they brought Mr. King from Slayer over, so Dave and I got to hang out with him for a while. So yeah, it's fun being at the booth in that regard. So. But guys, I think we're about done for the day. I am so ready to pack up the booth and get going. So we got a couple more hours. So,
all right.
And you got to get to a community panel.
Okay.
And Sam's got to go find Witch Comics.
Boom.
So guys, Wednesday we will be back taping our regular show, which will air on Friday. This one we're going to be back in our home studio. I miss home. And it will be Elric, Rob, and I, and we will be talking about Comic-Con wrap-up, and since he didn't make it, Elric will be talking about what he's been doing for the past week, because he's been doing some really cool stuff, too, that doesn't involve, major studios, flying flags at him and everything. So anyway, we will have that up next Friday, so everyone be cool till then, and go check out The Conjuring, #1 movie this weekend, and it's amazing. Definitely a plus. Go check it out. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.